Appeals meeting for, can you guys hear me okay back there? All right. Good time to turn off your phones or turn them on silent if you haven't already done so. And we're going to go ahead and call the Morgan County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order for October 23rd, 2023. We do have a quorum this evening with all members present. And as always, we ask Mr. Rumbaugh to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you, Mr. Rumbaugh. Gentlemen, we each received copies of our minutes from our last meeting. Are there any changes, corrections, additions, deletions to the minutes?
I didn't see any changes.
So open for a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve as sent.
Thank you. And a second to that?
Second.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Thank you. We had an agenda sent out to us in advance of the meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda this evening? No. Open for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Second to that? Gordon had his hand up first, I believe, on that. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Parker, do you want to swear in those that are speaking, or would you like me to do it? Okay. All right. So the state has ruled that the testimony you give here tonight, if you're up speaking at the podium, requires that we swear you in for that. So for all of you that want to speak this evening, including the applicants, so if you signed up to speak, I'd ask you to stand with me and raise your right hand. Do each of you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony you're going to give this evening? Thank you. All right. For those of you who've never been here before, I'll go through a couple things and explain to you how we operate. Unfortunately, the screens up here aren't going to have tonight's football game on them, but you're probably going to miss a little bit of it tonight. We're going to call up the applicant first. We're going to ask everybody when I call you up to come to the podium and speak into the microphone. Need everyone to start off by giving us your name and your address. If you don't, I'm going to stop you, and it's uncomfortable for me and uncomfortable for you, so just remember that name and address to start. The applicant's going to be given 15 minutes to present their side or why they think they need the variance or whatever request they've got in front of us this evening. Then we go around and I'll call up whoever signed up to speak. And tonight, because we've got quite a few people on one application, I am going to limit the time to 3 minutes per speaker. And we time it and I cut you off. Please be respectful of that. So the best thing you can do is get to your point. And if you're repeating what somebody else has already said, you might say you agree with so-and-so and then move on to something that they didn't bring up, if that makes sense. I do ask the only time you speak is while you're at the podium. All right, if you're speaking in the audience and making comments, that's not going to be acceptable. So we maintain an order of decorum, and I appreciate in advance everybody doing that with us this evening. So any questions, happy to answer. Nope, okay. All right, first item on the agenda this evening is under old business. It's an update of BZA approval for petition SE-22-06. Stephen Boylan. Stephen's going to provide a one-year status report as a condition that we imposed on him for his special exception for a disc golf facility that we granted back on July 25th, 2022. And the property is located at 7411 North Kivett Road in Gregg Township. And for this evening, do I have a sign-up sheet for it? Thank you. I have Steve Boylan. Steve?
Steve Boylan, 7411 North Kivett Road in Monrovia, Indiana, 46157. You guys asked for an update. Since October of last year, we have ran 5 events, averaged 68.6 players per event. Had no issues with anything. Some of them were one-day events, some were two-day events, and some of them were three-day events. We proceeded, we have our, we got the permit for our building for the bathrooms. That is completed. We actually also have a permit for the pavilion, which is at the first stage of the inspection process. So everything seems to be going in order. As far as I know, there's been no complaints, and you guys want me back here to answer questions for you guys.
Gentlemen, questions?
Was it a good year for you?
It's always a good year for me.
Not any
Seriously.
complaints?
No complaints. So
No over-the-fence
no
complaints?
emergency vehicles. I didn't have any trees fall on me this year, so I'm actually pretty good. I did have that done a couple of years ago. I had a tree fall on me down there and had to get ambulanced out. So yeah, been a good year.
Thank you.
So you said you had 5 events
5 events.
and averaged about 60 participants.
68.6 participants, and 2 of the events were fundraisers. We raised over $2,500 for the different charities. One of them was for Monrovia Christian Food Church Pantry. That was over $2,000. And then just a week and a half ago, we only had 25 people out for that event, and we raised almost $500 for the Gregg Township Fire Department.
All right. Gentlemen, any other questions? Ms. Parker, any complaints into your office from any of the events or activities held on the property that we granted the special exception to?
We have not had a single complaint since they began operations.
Okay. All right. Have you had conversation with any of the neighbors that were in here the night that we granted this?
Actually, yeah, the Porters actually called me this evening, said, sorry, we can't make it. We'd love to be there to support you. She goes, I'd really like to tell the people, you guys, that we've been cleaning up the property and cleaning out the woods from the brambles and all those issues, but unfortunately she can't make it. Mr. Smith, yeah, he and his son actually helped me with the fence. So they came out and gave us some manual labor, and we got that fence done between the properties, which is fantastic. And we had neighbors 3 doors up north of us that came out to play yesterday. So
Oh, well, good.
we're offering it to the community. I want to keep our neighbors very happy.
Good, good. Gentlemen, any other questions or discussion? We asked Mr. Boylan to come in this evening and give us an update on,
Any
What's
changes
happened?
proposed?
No changes at all at this point in time. You know, I think we're trying to add a third beginner course so we can get people out there to learn how to play it and be a little bit more of a community effort for new beginner players. I think that's a change, but it's not a massive change. It's just something we're going to use about 4 acres for of the 68. We're already using most of it for disc golf anyway. But no actual changes. The only change that I might ask for would be the restriction of 6 events was limited by this group. It wasn't asked for by the people. I would ask that be lifted. But as 6 events is something we can work with. So we only had 5 in the last 12 months, so it's not that big a deal.
Thank you.
Ms. Parker, for him to hold more events, what would be necessary?
So his original request, when he asked for the amendment back in October of last year, was for 8 events, and the board scaled it back to 6. So if you wanted to give him an opportunity to go up to 8, that's at your discretion. But you would need to vote on that tonight.
Is that what you would request if you,
Yes.
thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Boylan?
No?
No? All right, thank you. Jennifer, did you want to speak?
I'll pass.
Thank you. You can have a seat.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Boylan, thank you. Gentlemen, I've heard that the update, sounds like he's met our requirements that we imposed back in 2022. He's asking to go from 6 events to 8. Discussion around that?
Sounds logical.
No? No comments? We'd entertain a motion if somebody cared to make it, to raise it to 8 events.
I move we allow petition SE-22-06 to have up to 8 events a season.
Thank you. Have a motion to increase from 6 to 8 events. Do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye. Aye. It is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Boylan. Thank you. All right, our next item on the agenda this evening is under new business. It's public hearing D-23-26. Bradley and Lisa McFerrin are requesting a development standard variance to construct an accessory garage with a reduced front yard setback. The property is located at 543 Dogwood Trace in Green Township and is zoned for ag. For this application, I have Lisa and Brad McFerrin signed up in support of, and no one else signed up to speak on this application. Lisa, I've got you first. Are you presenting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Hi. Again, I'm here for matter D-2326. We are requesting a standard variance.
Your name and
Oh, I'm
address,
sorry.
please?
Lisa McFerrin, 543 Dogwood Trace, Martinsville address, Cope, Indiana.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're requesting a standard variance. We're a day late and a dollar short. Apparently, the 25-foot setback was changed in January of 2022. It is currently 35. We're requesting a setback variance to 25 feet. Our roadway is a private road with 4 other homes. We have the support of the other homeowners on our street. I'm essentially here to answer any questions that you have. We cannot really put the garage anywhere else on the property. We are in beautiful Green Township with rolling property and wooded property, and we don't have a lot of space to put it elsewhere.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions?
Questions?
I have none. I don't have any.
No? So looks like you've got a pretty steep grade on the property there.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Says it drops off at 34% grade, 19-degree angle
yes.
on that. And then on your lane where you're located, how many houses are on back beyond you that drive by?
There are 2.
Two. Have you spoke with those property owners about that?
We have, and actually the other homeowners in our street have offered to come. Most of them are elderly. We asked them, like, if they didn't necessarily have to come. We do have a letter of support from the other homeowners, if you'd like that.
What kind of building are you going to build there?
It will actually mirror the home that we have on the property, so it will be a brick construction
Okay.
garage.
Pole barn construction?
Pardon?
Is it a pole barn construction?
It is not pole barn. It'll actually be a framed building with brick.
And the garage is just for use for your personal benefit, no
Correct.
business being conducted out of the garage?
My husband, Brad, will be pretty much using it for storage and some woodworking hobbyist items.
Thank you. Gentlemen, any questions? No? Thank you very much. Brad? Lisa, you can have a seat.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good evening. Brad McFerrin, 543 Dogwood Trace, Martinsville, Indiana. I think she pretty much summed it up, but it would be impractical to place it anywhere else with the grade of the property and the other part of the property, there's a septic system, and we have beautiful trees, and there would have to be a lot of trees removed in excavation to even try to do it on the severe grade that exists. It is, one thing she didn't say, it's a 24 by 36. And it's gonna look nice. It doesn't prevent or any view obstructions for any of our neighbors because there's some distance, at least 100 yards from our house in a wooded area. So there's no view obstructions for the private drive. There's very little or no traffic except for the homeowners, the two houses beyond us. So, do you have any questions?
So you're going to be 25 feet back instead of the required 35?
Yes, sir.
We were at 25 before, weren't we, Ms. Parker, until last year on that? Okay. And are you building this yourself?
No, sir. BC Construction, Franklin, Indiana.
And it doesn't look like they would need to impede on your neighbor's property to do any kind of construction work on this?
Actually, the lot to the north of us, the parcel we own, but we're still going to be approximately 37 feet from that lot line to the north, to that parcel.
Okay. All right. Are you going to have water and electricity out in the
No
garage?
water.
No
I
water?
have electricity ran to the garage. And the purpose of it, I have retired and have quite a bit of woodworking equipment. It's a hobby, so I'm able to put my planer, my lathe, and things like that, and my, do woodworking.
Gentlemen, questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we've heard from everyone that signed up to speak, so we're going to end our public hearing portion of this application and enter into public meeting. This is an application for a development standard variance for this request. In order for the board to grant this, we have to agree that the applicant meets certain findings of facts. The first being, they're asking the applicant to describe the proposed use of the variance. The applicant has written seeking a reduction of front yard setback from 35 feet to 25 feet for an accessory garage. The garage will be adjacent to a private road, Dogwood Trace, with no outlet. Accessory garage will be primarily used to storage family personal possessions. A portion of the garage will be utilized by the homeowner as hobby woodworking area. Under Section 2 and 2.1, the statement is, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and goes on to write, the accessory structures such as a detached garage and pole barns are commonplace in this area and not detrimental. The garage will be located along a private road, with no outlet, with only 2 residents beyond the proposed garage, and therefore very minimal road usage. The garage will present no visual obstruction from the roadway, nor impact views from neighboring dwellings. Structure will create no public health or safety concerns. It will create no aesthetic or visual concerns and will be framed and bricked to conform to the appearance of our home/dwelling. Under 2.2, the statement is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, the use and value of the adjacent properties will not be affected adversely for this garage. The proposed structure will be a considerable distance from any neighboring home. Use of brick and quality materials along with the building's design will be aesthetically pleasing and abide by all covenants of the neighborhood association. Placement of the garage will be at least 25 feet from property lines, which is beyond the 20-foot covenant requirement. This structure will in no way be detrimental to the property values in the area. Under 2.3, the statement is, a strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The applicant indicates that's a true statement. Goes on to write, the unique and irregular characteristics of our parcel cause physical constraint on placement of the detached garage/structure. Extraordinary conditions exist such as topography, size, and shape of the parcel, which will create a hardship to us. Moving the structure further away from the private road to conform to Morgan County ordinance is impractical, as the parcel's topography significantly drops off at 34% grade and 19-degree angle to the east. Any alternate placement of the garage would demand impractical excavation, impede proper drainage from rainfall, require the removal of large mature trees, impact native flora and fauna, and limit or eliminate the ability to go to connect utilities to the structure, and may cause the garage to be too close to our dwelling. For the technical reports, the surveyor reviewed made no comment. The health department states that they have no objections to the proposed variance, and staff's recommendation is that their staff supports the applicant's request. So, gentlemen, open for discussion on this application.
Pretty common sense place to put it.
Any other discussion or comments, gentlemen? No, it seems to me like they clearly meet the findings of facts, and I would definitely support this. Open for a motion?
I move we approve petition D-23-26 with all findings of fact being found true.
To have a motion to approve, do I have a second to that motion? Mr. McGrath seconds. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. It is approved. Thank you very much.
Stay for this thrilling meeting.
But you're more than welcome to. Yeah, you can leave. You don't have to stay, but you're welcome to. All right, our next item on the agenda this evening is public hearing D-23-27. Michael and Autumn Soika are requesting a development standard variance to increase the maximum square footage of an accessory dwelling unit. The property is located on Keys Road in Brown Township and is zoned R1. For this application, I have Michael Soika signed up to speak, and no one else. Mr. Soika.
Yes, good evening. My name is Michael Soika. I live at 1386 East Keys Road. It's in Mooresville in Brown Township. And I'm here tonight because we are requesting to raise the square footage of an accessory building we would like to build on our property. We would like to build what's going to be an in-law quarters just behind our residence. And due to my two parents are going to live there. They're elderly and they need handicap accessibility. So when we started the process, we started drawing up the plans, and the 800 square feet was just not big enough to accommodate them, along with all the handicap accessibility needs that they were going to need. So we'd like to request to build a accessory building no larger than 1,200 square feet.
Thank you, gentlemen. Questions?
Why so big for two people?
So just when we started, like I said, when we started drawing the plans up, 800 square feet with the wider doors. My parents really want a little bit bigger kitchen. My mother still likes to cook and bake. And then we also they requested that they have 2 full baths, just due to their preferences. So when we started drawing up the plans, the 800 square feet, we just weren't fitting it in there along with the larger doorways and things of that nature. So, like I said, we're not gonna go over 1,200. We'll probably be somewhere around 1,150. I'm gonna guess maybe 1,100 is gonna be about the biggest we'll get, but we put 1,200 on there because that's it's not gonna be any bigger than that, so.
Would these houses ever be able to be combined at a later date?
No, they will not. They'll be separate. So, where we're putting it, it'll be, it's gonna be like behind our residence, off to the side a little bit. So, but no, they will not be able to be combined.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, other questions? Mr. Soika, how many acres do you own there?
That's 9.15 acres.
Okay, can you pull that a little closer to you?
Sure. Yes, it's 9.15 acres.
All right, thank you. And your existing structure, do you know how big it is?
Yes, so we have approximately 2,800 square feet finished and then 1,900 unfinished.
Are you building this yourself?
Yes, I am. I'm going to contract a lot of the work out, but I am going to do some of the aspects of it myself.
Okay. And is this you mentioned parents?
Yes, my
They're going to be
parents.
residing in this dwelling?
Yes,
Your parents?
yes, my parents.
Have you discussed this with any of your neighbors?
Yes, so my neighbors to the west of me are good friends of ours. I talk with them, they have no issues with it. The other neighbors I haven't spoken to, though. So there's in the property that's around me, nobody has any houses built yet. Everybody's starting to develop the houses in the area, though.
And you understand that it's going to require a septic system approval for that second dwelling?
Yes, I have that. We got the soil sample and we got the site evaluation form right here. It approves the septic. So I don't have the septic permit, but it approves that we can put one there.
Okay. All right.
And then we have an existing well that has enough flow for the water for it. And then we also, when we built our house, this was planned. We were hoping that we can do this in the future. So we planned for the electrical as well. So we put a higher amperage box on the house so we can run electric from the house to it.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Gentlemen, any questions?
Will it be a shared driveway?
So yeah, the initial driveway will be shared and then their driveway will come off probably about 100 feet to their house. Or to,
So on our drawings that were provided to us, it
Yes.
looks like if you look at your residence up on the screen, if you're to the left of that, is that where you're going with the,
yeah, so to the left and kind of, I guess if we're going north, south, east, west to the left.
there's a laser pointer up there.
Oh, is
if
there?
you can Figure out how to use it.
Oh, there we go, okay. There you go. Yeah, so we want to put it approximately right there. And then what you were talking about, the driveway is going to, the existing driveway here is going to serve both of us on the road, and then their driveway will extend just a little bit further to the west there, to where their house is going to be, which would be approximately right there.
Thank you. Gentlemen, any other questions?
You say the other houses, is there a road maintenance agreement on that road?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Say that again?
I didn't hear what you asked, I'm
Is
sorry.
there a road maintenance agreement on that lane back there to your house?
A road?
Yeah, any other houses on it?
No, it's just my house.
You're the exclusive owner of the driveway.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Any other questions, gentlemen? No? Thank you, Mr. Soika. All right, I have no one else signed up to speak on behalf of or in opposition to this application, so we'll end our public hearing portion of the meeting, go into the public meeting. Again, we have in front of us a request for a development standard variance under the proposed use the applicant has written, the accessory structure would be used as in-law quarters. The proposed build would consist of 1,200 square feet of living space, and any adds into their estimated at most. Under the standards for evaluation in 2.1, the statement is the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, the approval won't harm the public in any way. It won't be unsightly, noisy, or add any significant additional traffic. Under 2.2, the statement is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant indicates that's also a true statement and goes on to write the additional accessory structure will be a nice addition to the property and should only help increase property values. Under 2.3, the statement is the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and states this will serve as a full-time living space for 2 elderly adults. The construction requires a little extra room for comfort and handicap accessibility. The health department states they have no objections and note that an approved septic system will be required for the proposed accessory dwelling. Surveyor reviewed and makes no comment. Staff's recommendation on this is that they would support this application to increase the maximum living area for an accessory dwelling up to 1,200 square feet. Gentlemen, open for discussion on this application?
I don't see on the acreage a problem with this.
Any other discussion?
I have nothing.
Yeah, my thought on this is I would support this and call out staff's comments around finding of facts, number 3, to meet those findings of facts. I don't know that the applicant necessarily did in his statement or in his application, but reading what staff has written, I would agree that he does. Any other discussion? Nope, open for a motion.
I would move that we approve petition D-23-27 based on the finding of facts.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is approved, and that's unanimous on that. Thank you very much. Anybody need a break before we get going?
I'm fine.
No? Bill, you good? Jerry?
Yeah.
You good, or you want to need a break? Okay, all right. Okay. Great. Yep. Thank you. All right, our next item on the agenda this evening is public hearing SE-23-10. Kelly Weddle, on behalf of the petitioner, All American Express Solutions, is requesting a special exception to host a one-time rural event for a public festival. The property is located at 1988 East Country Club Road in Washington Township and is zoned for agriculture. For this application this evening, I have Ms. Weddle and 3 others signed up in support of. And then I have several folks signed up in opposition to, and I believe one person is a interested party. So again, just to go through the ground rules again, we're going to give Ms. Weddle 15 minutes for her presentation. The board can call her back up as much as we want to ask her questions and to clarify things if necessary. And everyone else, whether you're in support of, in opposition to, or an interested party, is going to be limited to 3 minutes. So, Ms. Weddle.
Hi, I'm Kelly Weddle. I live at 1306 Sassafras Court in Martinsville, and I'm here tonight seeking the special exemption to host a one-day event. We're actually calling it the All-American Benefit Bash. We had this idea it was supposed to be an employee party, and then being an advocate for women who have suffered from domestic violence, we want to give back. And we've had an outpouring community with people wanting to be involved, come and help, be vendors. And now we're giving proceeds, half to Desert Rose and then half to the Boys and Girls Club in Morgan County and Monroe County. We will have a whole bunch of kiddie events. We have a costume contest lined up for them. We do have 2 bands coming. We're at 5 food vendors now. I have EMS already scheduled to be there. And I have volunteer EMS and volunteer firefighter. We will have bounce houses for the kids, a whole bunch of crafts. All of our help and sponsors have donated gifts, goodies, money to give back to these special things in our lives. We are allowing vendors to set up starting at 11 o'clock on Saturday, but the event will run from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday night. My hope is to have it all shut down by 10:30 because I'm tired. But we will have traffic control on Country Club Road. There's only 1 entrance and 1 exit. Our driveway is actually 3 lanes, so we're trying to keep as much traffic off of Country Club as we can. We have security there. We will have a beer garden there who will have security at the front, and everybody has to get ID'd and have bracelets. It is $10 to come in and park, but that's just donation. We have enough area in the back lot for 320 cars, so parking should not be an issue. And right now we're hoping for around 300 to 500 attendees to be there. We have porta potties and hand washing stations scheduled as well. And that's all that I have.
Gentlemen, questions?
You're going to have alcohol?
Yes, there is a beer garden, yes.
Just out of curiosity. Alcohol and domestic violence?
I know, it doesn't go, but to get adults there, you have to have something. It's really more for kids, but to get kids there, you have to have adults.
With the alcohol, when are you going to cut alcohol sales off?
What time? 10 p.m.?
What time in the evening?
10 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Why was this location picked?
The company that I work for, we own this property. It's a private property. The owner bought it. It's his farm, and this is our biggest, it's 38 acres, so we have plenty of space to do this. And it's almost like a pop-up. It's a one-time thing that we just want to give back to our community, and the owner of the company is really big on giving back to our community as well.
Thank you.
The structure that we see in our drawings looks like it's just to the south of the beer garden.
Are you talking about the map that you have?
this.
Yes, okay.
Sorry. What is that?
The south, let me grab my map. Okay, so to the south, that is our rental property. The owner's son actually lives there.
But it's a residence?
Yes, it's the owner's residence.
Okay, all right. Beer garden, have you obtained a liquor license for the beer garden?
Yes, sir, I have the permit, yes.
Gentlemen, any other questions?
Is anybody gonna stay there overnight?
Stay there overnight. Anybody that is in the company, yes, we are staying there, but no other attendees are, no.
Explain that a little further, would you?
The owner of the company actually lives at the back of the property in Foxcliff. So he owns all of Country Club, the 1988 East Country Club, and then he lives at 2565 Sunderland Drive, which butts up right to the property, and that's why we'll stay. He has an in-law quarters back there.
Okay. Is there going to be camping going on
No
the
camping.
grounds? No camping. You have porta potties arranged to be there? I don't have any more questions now, but I'm sure we're going to bring you back up after we hear from some of your neighbors.
I got one. Did you say, you're gonna have ID points to check people that want beer?
Correct. The actual vendor who is doing the beer is going to check, and then we will have security at the entrance because it's all blocked in at there as well, so they're gonna get checked twice.
Okay.
Is the beer confined to the beer garden?
Yes.
Okay. And where is the band setting up?
So you can't, can I come up there? Okay.
Just come to the middle here so we can all see it.
The band is actually going to be set up right here.
One band?
We had to change that, where that band is, because of electricity purposes. That's why I brought this in today.
Is it just one band for the whole affair?
So I have an opener,
Okay.
which is one
Hold
singer.
on just a second. Take your map, please, and we're going to send you back to the podium. That way you're on the microphone. We just wanted to see that.
Okay.
Now you're welcome to
Okay,
continue.
sorry, yes. I had to move the band because of electricity purposes. Where we had them originally, they weren't gonna have enough electricity from the barn because they need four 20-amp breakers. So now they are across the driveway, right where you see the pink and the yellow squares. That's where they are now.
And what time are they gonna knock off?
I have an opener starting at 4 o'clock, and he'll play till 5:15, and then the main band, which is Big Country, they play from 7 to 10.
Is that? Thank you. Oh, how about, can you go a little more? Where the structure is, the residence that's rented out? There we go. Is that it? Ms. Waddle?
Yes, that's the residence right there.
All right, so there's a laser pointer up there.
Yep.
Can you put the laser pointer and show us where the residence is? Okay. Can you keep it on it for a second? That's it right there?
Yes, that is the rental property that we have.
Okay. So if I go on back that lane, who's,
That is the barn right there, and then we have a lean-to.
what's going to be happening back in that area?
Which area? Like straight back?
No? At
Over
the-
here?
Yeah.
So right back here, we have all of our vendors set up. They get 10 by 10 booths. These are actually horse pastures. They're all fenced off. So there's one pasture right here, one pasture right here, and then there's one pasture back here.
Where is parking?
Parking is all this back here. It's not on the screen right now, but it's all the way back here.
Not yet. And where is the band going to be set up?
The band is right here in this corner. So the back of the band is going to be right here, and everything will be going out this way. Yes, and this is all the parking right here.
Is that a hayfield or something now?
I mean, it's all grass, so yes. Mhm.
All right.
I got a question. So what will the vendors be vending?
We have anything from soaps to baby clothes to paintings to, I mean, I have a lot of boutiques, so a lot of clothes, a lot of clothes. Yeah. I actually have one cookie place too. They're gonna be selling cookies.
I'm sorry, couldn't make out what you said.
There's one bakery cookies. I think it's Alley Bakes Cakes. Yeah.
So on your, this map,
Yes.
if I look to the east of where you've indicated the band's going to be, which is, again, if I'm right, it's going to be that yellow square with the pink
Yes.
outline around it.
Yes, sir.
There's a yellow square to the east. What is that?
It's no longer anything. This
Okay.
was our original drawing. This was going to be like a touch-a-truck. We were going to have dump trucks, fire trucks out there for kids because it was gonna be close to the kiddie corral. So we have sprint car drivers, and I have another race car driver bringing his car as well for kids to see. They'll have postcards to give them their signatures and take pictures.
And there's not going to be fireworks, is that correct?
From the fire chief, yes, I'm not allowed to have fireworks because it's too dry.
Okay. What I'm asking you is, are there going to be fireworks?
No,
Okay. Are there going to be campfires?
no, we have the propane heaters.
Okay. All right. All right. Gentlemen, any other questions?
Are people going to be limited to your area? They can't wander off around the neighborhood? There's no fencing up or something to keep them in?
So, yes, technically there is fencing all of this right here. All of this is fenced in. They're all different pastures, and that's why we're trying to keep it all contained within that. And then the beer garden is now right over here, and it's all fenced in. So there's only one entrance into that beer garden.
Yeah.
Any other questions, gentlemen? Nope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to guess here, Jake Wheeler?
How you doing, gentlemen? Name?
Can you give us your name and your address?
J.R. Wheeler, 2565 Sunderland Drive in Martinsville.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I made that out as being Jake and not J.R.
Yeah, it's
on
J.R.
there. All right, Mr. Wheeler, you're signed up to speak. What would you like to tell us that hasn't been said?
A couple of things. Back here, where she had showed where the fencing's going to be, even around the parking areas, all that is going to be fenced off. It's going to have caution tape, lit up orange barrels that's going to go around everything. The drive that goes back to the cabin is going to have a truck across the lane so nobody can get past that point. And we're going to have about 25 volunteers just for security to make sure nobody can get anywhere but in that contained area. So they can't wander off, they can't go anywhere from there.
Anything else you'd like to tell us?
No, that was it. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that it was contained.
Okay. Gentlemen, questions for Mr. Wheeler? I'm assuming you're involved with this?
Yeah, I'm the owner.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Austin Wheeler?
Hey, good evening. I'm Austin Wheeler. I'm 2096 East Country Club. I own the property just adjacent to 1988. I don't have any issues with this. I think it's good for the community, especially if we can get more people to donate more money. We're trying to do other events while we're there to raise more money and donate all of that. So I think I think it's good to help out wherever we can. So that's all I had to add.
Okay. Are you involved with this as well then? Are you going to be working there?
No, I will not. I'll actually be out of town. I have a wedding that I was in the military, so I have a friend that's obviously not important, but I have a wedding to attend to way past due. So,
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, questions for Mr. Wheeler?
No.
okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. All right, Jordan? Jordan, I'm going to let you tell us your last name. I apologize.
I am Jordan Neuenfeld, and I reside at 2565 Sunderland Drive. I actually worked for the Boys and Girls Club in Ellettsville when I met JR, the owner of the property. I am their Healthy Lifestyles Director, and I also am a survivor of domestic violence. And I met JR at my sister's wedding. He was the man that she was going to marry, his best friend, grew up all his life. JR has been one of the biggest supporters of women of domestic violence because my brother-in-law is his brother, and what I went through really impacted him and touched his heart. I started doing support groups with women of domestic violence, and JR was my biggest donator. I mean, he gave me thousands of dollars to help me rescue women and help me spread my word. When I started working for the Boys and Girls Club, we kind of kept touch and little family events, and he donated 15 bicycles to my Club Riders program so I could teach kids how to ride bicycles. And the gardening and the farming, I wrote that program for Ellettsville. JR's doing this event because it's something that's really, really close to his heart, always has been. And we're doing it in a way that we can get the most people out to raise the most money. I know it seems crazy with beer and domestic violence and kids, but it raises funds. It raises a lot of funds, and that's how you're able to spread that mission and spread that vision. And I am actually honored that I came into the lives of these people. I think that this event is going to it's going to do really, really good things for not only Desert Rose, for these women. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But for kids, my kids that'll be hanging out in that kiddie corral. I have 3. And I have 3 kids now because another nonprofit, another group of people like JR, they did something to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on just a second. Gentlemen, any questions for Ms. Neufeld? Neufeld, right?
Neuenfeld, yes.
I'm sorry?
Neuenfeld.
Neuenfeld.
Yes, German for Newfield.
Okay,
Wonderful.
all right. Any questions? No, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to move on to those that signed up in opposition to, and first one I have on the list is it Gordon Petty? Grover Petty.
I'm Grover Petty. I live at 3120 North Maple Turn Lane, Martinsville, Indiana. I actually am kind of north of this. I'm actually in opposition to this. For one, there's hardly anybody around our neighborhood that even knew this was going on. Even though it's a great event for battered women and all, my only opposition to this is I have to take the burden on that I have to, first of all, listen to what's going on. I may or may not like the bands that are there, but since I live where I do, I have to take that burden on. I wish he would have come and talked to me. I wish there would be a better event and a better place for this to go on. It's a good thing. But in the presence of where everything is, there's a lot of residents around here that have to take that on. I'm just uncomfortable because a couple things that and the only thing I got on this was from the internet, and it's from Mr. Wheeler's own Facebook account. You know, I got what all was gonna be there, you know, the Carnival Games fireworks show, which I'm hearing now it's not gonna be there. But I have kind of a problem with it, with the beer garden and the drinking. The other thing is, like he said, or excuse me, Ms. Weddle said to start with, there's really only one way out. I mean, I kind of have a problem with that because is this thing actually going to end at 10:30 like she said? Most events like this normally don't. Normally they try to go on for as long as they can go because there's people that are having a good time. I have a problem with that. I don't know about the safety of this. The other thing, I bought this house 20 years ago that I live in to be a nice, quiet neighborhood. I bought it because all this property is ag. I bought it because it's quiet. I knew that Foxcliff was over there, and they take care of a lot of things to keep the area quiet. That's why I'm in an opposition. And the other thing, too, is I even got onto his site, and it even comes off here. He's talking about getting biker buddies as interested in security. To me, this is more sounding like more of a party than it is anything. You know, I have to deal with whatever comes up with what the barrels on one end. I'm sorry, I work with caution tape with what I do a lot. People break that off and they're gonna walk through the woods, whatever they wanna do. I live directly north. There's people that's gonna be on either sides of this. I just have a bad feeling. So at that point there, you know, I don't want it here. I don't want it to become later on down the road. And I know this is hearsay, and I know what I've been told by the board, this is dealing with only tonight. This is something I definitely don't want to have to start with, and in the future, I don't want anything like this. So I know you can't figure and look at that, but at that point there, that's what I'm looking at. I bought this to be a nice, quiet neighborhood. This doesn't make it such. Any questions from me?
How far away are you from the band, your property line?
I honestly don't know. I live basically, let's put it this way. I have hills between me and the highway of 69. And in the last couple of weeks, with the leaves starting to fall, I can hear the vehicles from over there through and over the top of the hills. And that only happens during the fall, winter, and early spring before the leaves come up. This is gonna be right down my valley.
Are you guessing 500 feet?
I am probably more farther than that. I just live at the top of that valley. And I just know that there's other people in my neighborhood that have told me the same thing. I would wish that my other neighbor could have been here. But she couldn't because of her elderly husband she has, and he can't get out. He's too feeble at this point. I know it sounds like I'm...
Hold on just a second. You're out of time, but I'm going to give you the chance to answer questions from the board members. Gentlemen, any questions for Mr. Petty? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Hoivas? Guys, I'm not going to get anybody's name right tonight. If you ask me to pronounce my own, I'm probably not going to get it right. So I apologize, blanket apology in advance here.
So it's Michelle Hovias, and I'm 2160 East Country Club Road. This property is practically in my backyard. It's about less than a football field away where the band will be. I agree with everything the gentleman in front of me said. I bought the house 30 years ago because of the peace and quiet. And my main concern is the traffic on the road. We just finished dealing with I-69 traffic, and we had many accidents on the road. And I'm really concerned with the volume of the bands, considering it's, like I said, it's right in my backyard. So those are my main concerns, and the future plans I'm hearing about, I'm very concerned about that also.
The what plan?
Some future plans of the property that I've been told about.
Okay, all right. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's it.
All right. There's a laser pointer laying there.
If I can see up there.
Can you see where you live? There we go. All right. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, any questions? No? Thank you. Johnny B. Ramey. What?
Hi, I'm Johnny Belinda Ramey, and I live at 2253 East Country Club Road, and I'm approximately like 7 homes east of where this event will be happening. And I also agree with Mr. Pettis and Mitzi Hovius's. And my big concern is it's a lot of hidden driveways. We've had accidents when we were having the I-69 traffic and the noise. My husband's a day sleeper. I've been there 22 years, and we also moved there for the quietness there. And I also pet sit for various homes there, and I do know that you can trespass at any point in those woods. There is no true fencing there. And I don't agree with the idea of having drinking, children on the road. I've been involved in accidents where there's alcohol and lost a family member. So I'm just very upset about this, and we had none of us, myself, has not heard anything about this prior to this, finding out through a neighbor. She had told us we'd seen the paper, and I also saw this on Facebook on the porch time. And I just have a feeling it's just kind of a bogus way of getting something started. I don't agree with having shops, vendors. I mean, there's just so many things that I'm opposed to what they're wanting to do here. It's just a nice, quiet residential area. That's about all I got to say.
Gentlemen, questions? Ms. Ramey, can you show us where you live here with the laser
Let's see.
pointer?
She'll have to bring it up because I don't have my glasses.
I'm going to keep her walking all night, back and forth. We got to figure out a way to get that computer closer.
I'm east of Mitzi's home, Miss Hovius's home. Susie Aran's across from me. And I'm on the opposite side of the road. I'm on the opposite of his. There I am.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
How long have you lived there?
20-some years.
And you mentioned alcohol, and I think the other folks mentioned that as well. Does the country club at Foxcliff serve alcohol? Do you know?
I think they do.
Okay, if you don't
Yeah.
know, that's okay. All right. I just wondered.
And it's just barely a 2-lane road there also. Just
Okay.
barely, and you have to pull over for people to go the opposite direction. It's just very dangerous.
Gentlemen, any other questions? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maggie Proctor.
Maggie Proctor, 2193 East Country Club Road. Like my neighbors, I'm extremely concerned about the noise, the safety. On a Facebook post, I think it was Porch Time LLC, this event was presented as a grand opening. There's big plans for this property for the future. And it was also stated that there's going to be a beer garden, a wine vendor, and a spirits vendor. I don't know if that's changed because there also was fireworks going to be there. There was also a high-flying dirt track. That's going to involve a great deal of noise. And like my neighbors, I'm there because it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's safe. Country Club Road is a narrow road. There's many times where oncoming traffic, we have to pull off the side of the road to let another car go by. So I'm very concerned about the noise, the safety of people wandering through our neighborhood, and the traffic, and what's in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a second, ma'am. Can you grab the laser pointer, show us where you live?
Right there.
Oh, thank you. Didn't even look over there. Thank you very much. How long have you lived there?
5 years.
Okay.
I purchased it as my retirement because it is quiet and safe and peaceful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, any questions? No? Thank you very much. Marcia Carroll?
Hi, gentlemen. My name is Marcia Carroll, and I live at 1240 Country Club Road. But my husband and I own the acreage to the west of this address. So we're just west of where he is. We have acreage that goes all the way back to Fox Cliff South also. The first time I became aware of this was on Facebook with a flyer that they were having this All-American Bash. Then I saw him on Porch Time being interviewed by Kevin Coriel. And Kevin had not heard of this and was surprised. And he asked Mr. Wheeler if he had talked to the city or the county about this. And he said, no, I'm just having it. And then he said, but I guess they know it now. The flyer says the things that they're going to have. They've also boasted that they're going to flip a car, an RZR. They're having a racetrack in the back of the property. Like most people, I'm going to try and shorten this as far as the traffic. We did have to put up with I-69 as people came around the country club. Our road is not large enough for this. We encountered so many problems with big dump trucks, tankers, all kinds of big trucks going off the road. We have at our farm, they tore up the road there by our cornfield, and the county had to come out and try and piece it together. We've had mailboxes destroyed because of all the traffic, and it's just not wide enough for this. We had one vehicle that was run off the road and tore down our fence across from the country club. We couldn't even walk, and I can't let my grandkids out to ride their bicycles because it's unsafe. And years ago, I don't know if you remember, but years ago there was a place called Toccoa Ranch that wanted to build on John Bergman's property, and we took it before the people because we were against that, and they voted that they denied it because the road was too narrow, among other reasons, but that was one of them. It's also, his driveway is at the bottom of a couple hills where Belinda and some of these other people live. So there's a lot of speeding on that, and then when you get to the bottom of the hill is where his driveway is. So it's a hidden drive, really. And if there's a traffic stop, you can come up over that hill and just run into somebody real easily. The yards were torn up. Like people said, it's a quiet, peaceful, rural area that we all want to keep that way. We don't want to be listening to bands till 10 o'clock at night. He was going to have a bonfire. I see the fireworks have been canceled. They are planning on hosting many, many events after this one. They want to have major events, and they want to host bands. I'm sorry.
We're out of time here.
Okay.
Nope, you're out of time.
No, I just want to say I thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any?
Any questions, gentlemen? All right, I've got a couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
You're the adjoining property owner to the west, is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
And-
My
and-
son owns part of it, and we own the rest of it.
Okay. Do you have livestock there, horses, cows, anything like that?
On my son's property, there are 2 horses.
Okay, all right. And is your son adjoining that property, or are you adjoining it?
Well, he has the beginning of the property,
Does he adjoin the property?
yes,
Okay, all right,
and we do too.
okay. And how long have you lived there?
It's been in the family, for the Carroll family, for,
You lived there.
well, I don't live on that property. The property I live on is at 1240. It's just right around the corner.
Okay, can you show me with the laser pointer where you live?
It's the 15th hole across from the,
I can't hardly hear you.
I'm sorry, I am terrible with these, and I don't know where your little pointer is. So,
Laura's got it brought up now.
oh, this, I'm sorry, it's not the one I'm used to. But she's pulled it up.
Is that where you live then?
Is it, Gary? I can't figure these maps out, I'm sorry.
I appreciate your help, but we really need you at the podium so it's recorded. Thank you. All right. How long have you lived
How long
where
have
you
we,
live
where I
now?
live now? We've lived there 8 years.
8 years, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Folks, when you come up and you give us your name and address, I'm going to ask you, when it's my turn to ask you questions, how long you've lived there, so you might go ahead and get that out of the way. Just something to think about. Next up, I have Fred Stafford signed up to speak. I'm sorry, you're passing, Fred? Yeah. Thank you. Alan.
Verbarg?
There we go.
Yeah, Alan Verbarg. I live at 2307 East Country Club Road. And we've been there since 1991, bought the property in 90, bought it from Teeters, built the house in 1991. So we're located right between Melinda and Jeff Haggard, at the bottom of that valley between the 2 hills on Country Club Road.
Go ahead, and then
So-
when it's our time, we'll ask you to point it out.
That's fine. So I think everybody's pretty well commented on the one-time event plan they have in place. The high-flying track was something that I was concerned about. I did look at the porch time. I went through it and tried to extract as much of the comments through that as I could. And I looked at the current events. I also looked at the future plans, which are very large. And it's got, trying to acquire additional acreage so they can grow that business. They're trying to look at, well, the roads are an issue for us, number one. I'm looking at the current calmness that we have today that's been there for years. We want to make sure that we maintain. Talked about the road that's being narrow. So the items that look to the future that are being talked about is 140 additional acres that's going to give him a chance to grow the business there. Plans to have major events throughout the year. Really didn't get into some of the details on that other than there were going to be a lot. They want to make their mark on Martinsville, is the comments that was made. Plan to continue to grow and add more activities and options to use from the others. They may want to use other people to use the facilities if they need to. There's probably a rent fee that I would assume. They want to add chickens, cattle, and various farm animals. Horses will be available to teach children and kids how to herd cattle. Looking for other business opportunities to join their business. Conducting domestic violence 2 times per month. It's all good stuff. And grow the motor track activities as needed. Concerns here were, we've got this calm area that we want to make sure we keep calm and peaceful. Property values is a concern with the quiet. Our values are pretty good. They've held pretty strong over the years. In fact, I just invested a pretty good hunk of money into my house, doing an upgrade on it. I'm sure I'm interested in losing that cost I just put in it. Safety and pulling out on the country club road, serious?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
We're out of time here.
Fine.
Gentlemen, questions? All right. Laser pointer laying up there. Can you show us
Yes.
where you live?
Yeah,
Or I guess Laura's
He's
already
got it
a
on
step
there.
ahead of me. All right.
she's got it located on there.
So you're on the south
I'm right
side of
here.
the road from it?
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bob O'Neill?
My name is Bob O'Neill, and I live at 1219 Country Club Road, and I've lived there for 15 years.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm very opposed to this. We have a very, very nice community out there, and this thing is not a one-time deal. It's going to grow into something that's going to affect all of our property values tremendously. And as previous people had spoken, the road is very narrow. It would be very difficult to get those people out of there if it really had to happen. The noise is going to be horrendous, and I don't live next to it, but as a crow flies, I live right across the country club from it. And I'd like for you to take all that into consideration. If it was your property, if you would like to have this in your back door. And it's not a one-time deal. They're wanting to grow that. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you. Can we see your property up there, Mr. O'Neill, on that map? Oh, Laura's already got it. I'm gonna quit.
Yes, right there. Right across, straight across the country club. The country club's between me and Country Club Road.
You've lived there 17 years?
15 or 17.
You ever play golf at the country club?
Yes, I have.
Do they sell alcohol there?
No.
No alcohol at the country club?
Well, I think they may be. I think they do. I don't participate, but I think they have alcohol there.
Okay, all right.
She said yes.
Okay, well, maybe she signed up and I'll ask her. Or she
Yeah,
can
right,
volunteer.
right.
Okay, all right. Gentlemen, any questions for Mr. O'Neill? Nope, thank you, sir. Is it Andy Kilchner? Did I get the name right? Not even close. All right, Andy, just for my curiosity, how do you pronounce? Is it Andy, first of all? You got that right. Okay, well done. All right, I'm going to stop there and take that as a victory. All right, Bob Keller? Okay, thank you. Gary Carroll?
Gary Carroll, 1240 Country Club Road. I've lived there since 2014. My dad's lived there since 1964. My grandfather, or my uncle before that, and the property next to him, my grandfather and their family have owned over 100 years. what I'd like to say is, one thing, there is no fence between me and them where this beer garden is going to be. They're going to put a piece of caution tape up. We're going to have his biker buddies patrolling it, which doesn't make me feel too good. I've got a bean field over there next to it. This is an event that, it's a grand opening. He's told everybody he's going to have all kinds of things there. He was supposed to be jumping, flipping ATVs in there. He's got horses there that he's going to have. He's got kids. He's got liquor. He was going to have fireworks. It isn't very well thought out. And the only reason we're here tonight is because I heard this on Facebook, and I came in and made a complaint on it. He said he owned 150 acres. I went down and checked. He owns 38 acres, and himself, he goes by Rusty Wheeler there, and he owns 11.2 acres. He's going to put 25 miles of trails in there. How do you put 25 miles of trails in 50 acres? He's got one cabin that Mr. Wilson built, and he's already drug in one 20-foot building that's sitting down in the floodplain right now. You know, there's an old saying, some people ask permission, some people beg forgiveness, and a third group do what they want to do and pay the fines and put it on their tax as a tax write-off. He's an LLC, so he's safe from it if anything happens. I just think it's a really bad idea, but this is just a grand opening. He's already said that. And he got on Facebook and told people that he doesn't care, he's going to have it. And whether you guys do it or not, I imagine he'll probably pay the fine and have it. It's on Facebook now that it's, whatever we decide here, that it's going to happen. Any questions you want to ask me?
Thank you. Gentlemen?
Who's he?
Mr. Wheeler, right there. Rusty or JD or JR. Okay.
Let's keep this civil. Any other questions? No? Thank you.
I apologize.
Thank you.
I get a little upset when I hear
understand.
things like this.
Thank you. All right, Jeff, last name starts with an H, and I apologize, can't read the writing. What's your name, though, Jeff? Haggard? Okay, thank you. Mike Carroll?
My name's Mike Carroll. I live at 1874 East Country Club Road in Martinsville. I'm probably the closest neighbor to where this is going to be happening. My house is probably literally 60 steps from Mr. Wheeler's driveway that 300 to 500 cars are going to go by, so that's very concerning. I've got a young son there, 10 years old, that this will be in the backyard where he can see. The beer garden is very close. There's no way to stop people from coming across the drive or the property line, like he said. This is really, like everybody else has said, it's a start of something big for them. That's what they hope this is to be, and we want to keep it a quiet, rural, peaceful neighborhood. I mean, since Mr. Wheeler's moved in, it's been constant construction traffic, big trucks in and out, backup alarms for heavy equipment. And if that was just to improve the house and you saw a clear end in sight, then that's understandable. But now we're here, we're dealing with a big bash, as they call it, trying to make it a charity event, but really it's like everybody else said, it's a grand opening. But the alcohol, the close proximity to my home with that many people is a very, very big concern of mine.
How long have you lived there?
Since 2002, so 21 years.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, any questions? All right, thank you very much. Julie Carmichael.
I'm Julie Carmichael. I own the property at 3520 East Morgan Street, which is the Martinsville Golf Club. We've owned the property since 1969. I currently live on the property, but a family member has lived there since 1935. We've been there a long time. I signed up as an interested party because I didn't know anything about this event. I actually leaned over after the hearing started and asked Mr. Carroll when the event was happening, and he told me Saturday, and I started chuckling. I've got a couple points I'll make. First of all, there are ways to plan events like this. As we listen to other speakers this evening, all of them with the other petitions or asking for variances, all made an effort to speak with neighbors and address concerns and notify them of what was going to be happening near their property. It sounded like that was something you all, as a group, required them to do in some instances. The gentleman who had the disc golf, sounds like there was a lot of concern on your part that he talked with neighbors and neighbors felt comfortable with what he was doing. That has not happened. Again, like everyone here this evening, I didn't know anything about this, and that just sounds like a flawed process in my mind. A couple practical matters. This event is expecting 300 to 500 attendees, and I get the sense from the testimony I've heard tonight that the security is volunteers. That's a large event of people to manage with volunteer security. I know fire and EMS are expected to be there, but that's not the same as security, and events like this do have the potential to go awry. I'm concerned about it because I own a substantial amount of property on Country Club Road, all of the interior, in fact, of Country Club Road. And our property, as much as we try to prevent access to it, it's easy to find your way onto our property, either on foot or by automobile. We've had a number of incidents of vandalism this year, and I've had increased county sheriff patrol because of some thefts and trespassing on the property. So I'm wondering how Mr. Wheeler and the organizers are going to ensure that my property is safe as this event is ending up. I'm guessing they're not, and so Saturday night, if you all want to come out and join me, I'll be sitting on the golf course all night, making sure that no one accesses my property and damages the property. And I have Mr. Wheeler's been very nice on a couple occasions, but he's been unable to keep his animals off my golf course, so I'm not sure he's going to get people off of there. So those are my big concerns.
Thank you. Gentlemen, questions? All right, you're the authority on this. Do you sell alcohol at the country club?
Yes,
Okay.
I have an alcohol license.
That's it. Do you know by chance, does Foxcliff?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
absolutely.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, any questions? No? All right, thank you very much. All right,
Curious why
we
you're
have heard-
asking that question, but it's not an apples to apples comparison if that's
Ma'am.
what you're asking. Just curious.
We're done. You had your opportunity. We're all going to be civil here. All right. I need a break. So we're going to take a 3-minute break and be right back.
Where could I get a couple bales of hay?
I am. Thank you.
Bales of hay. Do they have that at China King or? Some hay? Bales of it. What?
You want a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to reconvene here, take up where we left off. Do I have the applicant back in the room here? So the procedures for the meetings are that we allow the applicant to come back up and address the board again. If you choose to address any concerns that were brought up, that's entirely up to you, but we just kind of open it up for you to make whatever statements you'd like to make here.
I would really like to, I just need to talk more to the mic. Give me a second.
Oh. No problem. We'll be right back with it. Can you hear me now? Is it okay if Rusty J.R. Wheeler would answer those concerns for you guys? Ms. Parker, I'm fine with that. Gentlemen? Sure. Thank you.
Do I need to say my name again, or are we?
If you would, just because we're recording this.
Okay. J.R. Wheeler at 1988 Country Club Road.
Thank you.
A couple things to go over. As far as this being an often event, it's not an often event. What I am going to be doing is a no charge for kids. There's going to be a handful of kids that are going to come in there once in a while, and I'm going to teach them how to do horses and see how you take care of animals. Yes, there will be a lot of animals. I'm bringing in I'll have 30 horses there by the end of this year. I'll have cattle, I'll have buffalo, I'll have chickens. I'm going to have all the animals. That's what I bought the 38 acres for. And Mr. Carroll is actually not understanding, but I actually just closed on Wednesday. I just bought another 120 acres that adjoins to that. So, and I am going to show the kids how to move cattle and how things used to be done. My whole purpose is, I grew up in a lot of homes as a child, so I'm trying to go after and help foster kids. I've adopted 3 children on top of my 4. But I'm not charging. This is all on me. It's my money. I donate it. This one-time event is to show what we've built out there. As far as the trucks coming in and out, me and my son own a construction company. It was in a floodplain, which it is no longer in a floodplain by Morgan County or FEMA. So there's some things there that they don't have correct. And it just got out of flood control or floodplain, I think, in the last week or 2. But everything I'm doing is not going to be charged. We're doing this one-time opening event just to show what we've done out there, what we've done to the property. We have 4 different homes on that property now, including mine at Foxcliff. There's not going to be parties out there. I'm sorry that that's what they think is going to happen, but it's not. It's a one-time event. As far as the track out there, yes, I race. I'm doing a backflip on Saturday off a track I built for my personal use. That's it. I have a bunch of buggies, off-road vehicles. We like to play. We do have a lot of trails, and there is close to 25 miles of trails between the 2 properties. That's for horseback riding. We're not bringing in people and teaching them how to ride horses. They're my horses. In Morgantown at my other farm, I had 26 at one time. I had to get rid of them because I went overseas in the military. I had to sell a bunch of them. This is my first time I've been able to get my animals back and really get moving again. As far as the bands, this bands, we shut it down at 10 o'clock, so it's not too much of an inconvenience. And I apologize to everybody in here for not getting around to talk to everybody. I travel a lot, running the business. I've been going 16-hour days. And anybody that lives next there, they tell you I've been out on machines and running equipment half the night. So I do apologize to everyone for that. But this is an event that I'm doing just to show what we've done. After that, I'm not charging anybody. Everything's on me. It's pure donation out of my business. But I will be having children out there. But it's 8 to 10 kids, maybe a couple times a month. There is going to be women and domestic violence out there. I'm not charging them. And it's not going to be right there where the neighbors can see it anyway. It's going to be back further on the property. But all it is a counseling. It ain't like we're fighting off their exes. It's just a counseling that we're going to do a couple times a month. As far as the bikers, I don't know why everybody thinks or maybe portrays it it's a bad thing. The bikers I run with, we do charity events all the time. We do security all the time. About every weekend during the summer, I'm doing charity events and using bikers and helping them with security. So a lot of them are ex-law enforcement. A lot of them are ex-military. We moved everything. And another thing they're not understanding and they're a little incorrect on, it is fenced in. Everything that we are doing is all in fenced in except for the one beer garden, and we're putting a fence up around it. And we have 2 security guys that are going to be there on each side. Nobody can get in or out without having their ID checked. Last thing I'm going to do is let anybody or my guys let anybody get drinking too much. It's not going to happen. We may have 100 people there. We may have 1,000 people there. I have no idea. It's the first event. Last minute, we decided to even charge the $10 for parking just so it helps the charity. Not one dime do I make off this. Not one dime does the company make off this. Every dime goes strictly to charity. I couldn't even tell you, $30,000, $40,000 out of my own money doing this. It's all for charity for the kids and the women of domestic violence. And I understand the neighbors. It's a one-time event. As far as the band goes and what we're doing there, as far as the children and women of domestic violence, it's not no event because it's free. And it's not going to be some band. It's going to be a couple at a time, a couple days a week. It's, and the bikers are not the Hells Angels. They're not, nothing bad. They're good people. So again, we shut it down at 10 o'clock. We wanted to go till 11, but we got talking and we backed it down to 10 just so we weren't being, overly loud. But the golf course, one gentleman talked about, he lives on the other side of the golf course in Fox Cliff. They have bands there all the time. And he's closer to them, way closer than where we're at. So it's kind of, and both places are drinking on each side of us. It's just kind of, to me, I understand some of their complaints, but also I think some people's got this a little bit further than what they're thinking. So when I say that we are going to have events out there and it's a grand opening, yeah, it is a grand opening, free of charge. But it's not going to be 1,000 people out there every month. It's going to be a few people here and there a couple of days a week. I don't want 1,000 people out of my property anyway. But if I can help some kids and help some moms get their life straightened away, I think it's a pretty good cause for not charging anybody. Now, this is giving back to Morgan County. I'm not lining my pockets. I don't need the money. I'm doing it to help our community and give back. There's a lot of foster kids and a lot of kids going down the wrong path. If it wasn't for somebody helping me with my 9th grade education, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So, everybody needs a chance, and that's what this is about. The horses and the cattle, yeah, we're going to push cattle down a lane, show the kids how they used to do it back in the old days, because kids don't know any of this anymore, don't seem like. I think it's a good thing. But as far as being an event, everybody thinking we're going to have bands every weekend, it's not going to be. So just to reiterate all that. And again, I apologize to the neighbors. I have just been nonstop busy trying to get this thing done, and it was a last-minute deal. That racetrack, so everybody understands this, yes, I'm doing a backflip, attempting it. It's my track. It's not for anything big. It's just to see if we can do it. It's going to be earlier in the day, It's way in the back, but that's the least noise they're gonna hear as far as that goes, because I got buggies, I run up and down them trails all day long. I run back and forth to the properties, to the different places. You know, it's, we're not having a huge off-road race out there. It's a test track that I built for me. I just wanna see if I can do the backflip. But other than that, I mean, it's, you know, and the noise-wise, I own dump trucks. I own equipment. The place was in a floodplain and needed a lot of work. I've brought in, I couldn't even tell you, probably 200 dump truck loads over the couple months that I've even owned the place. It's all gonna come to a halt here real soon. It's just gotta get it done. No more than anybody else building a house or redoing their property. So with that, I just wanted to make sure everybody understands this is not, you know, we're not having a concert every weekend. So.
Thank you. Gentlemen, questions?
I don't know if I'm gonna make a question or gonna make a statement.
Yes, sir.
As I understand, I'm getting paid tonight to adjudicate only this event. So what happens in the past, and I broke my crystal ball about 100 years ago, I don't know what else is going on, and I'm not gonna ask questions on it. I've got some concerns. Safety, my first one. I don't see much lights, and I know at dark at 7:30, I don't think that's a safe place for a lot of kids to be running around. I do think that the band could shut off a whole lot earlier than 10 o'clock for noise. If it's an event for kids, I wouldn't have mine up that late, I'll put it that way. Traffic safety, I think you're gonna have to have somebody with a little bit of ability to get people in or out. Lighting is probably, in this old man's opinion, not very adequate for the whole thing.
I do have a bunch of lights coming in, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mention that. I have the 8 or 10 of the huge lights that they use in construction that are gonna be lighting up the whole back parking lot out there, so where we're parking the cars, so everybody can see, and they will be over along the woods. To iterate why we moved that band is so the speakers will go away from the neighbors and more into that wood line to help dampen it. That's why we moved the band.
And the other really common question, I think I stated that when we started this, was that kids and alcohol, and we're talking about abused people, that just does not strike me as something that works well in a kettle. That's all I have to say.
Gentlemen, any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah. Who's gonna do the security?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Who will be doing security?
It will be mostly bikers that are, not all bikers, but there's gonna be probably 60% of that will be bikers that I've done other security for events and I've been with. And again, most of them are ex-military, ex-law enforcement. And the road, we have barrels and signs that are gonna be up on the road flashing to make sure that everybody sees. They'll be up by my son's house before they come over that hill, just to make sure they know. It died. Oh, there it goes. Couple to be up traffic up there.
Now, what'd you say about police officers?
I'm trying to see if I can't get a couple of the police officers in Morgan County. I'm getting ready to talk to a few of them and see if we can't get it passed to get them to help us with it.
Yeah, I would like to see some real police there.
Okay.
Because I've been at events where there are bikers and all, and they don't end up too good.
Okay.
I think you need some real police there, or deputies.
Okay. I don't know if I can get them there. I don't know how soon they need to know or if I can, but I will reach out to them first thing in the morning and see what I can get done. Oh, absolutely.
That's it.
Gentlemen, any other questions? I've got just a couple here. How long have you lived there?
That actually don't live at that. I live at the Fox Cliff behind it. I have roads that go from Fox Cliff to there, and I've been there now 3 years, I guess, right at it, 3 years.
Okay, all right. And you mentioned bands. They have bands outside at Fox Cliff?
Yes, they sure do.
How often do they do that?
I don't play golf, so I think about once a month on average during the summer. I've been to a couple of them, but I don't know how often. I can't answer that honestly.
They've had some this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions, gentlemen. No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we've heard from everybody, given the applicant a chance to speak again. So at this point, we close our public hearing, go into the public meeting portion of this application. So this is an application for a special exception use. And for the description of the request, they have written All-American Benefit Bash is scheduled for October 28th, 2023. Operations will open at 11 a.m. for setup, then open to the public at 3 p.m. and end at 11 p.m. The event is to raise funds and awareness for women of domestic violence and underprivileged children in our community. The event can be accessed from Country Club Road. Under Section 2.1, it makes a statement that the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. The applicant indicates that's a true statement. And to support that, he writes, this event will not be detrimental to the community or the residents that reside in our vicinity. We are equipped with security, permits, lighting, restroom facilities, hand washing stations, EMS, and a fenced-in roadway. We will also have event insurance of $2 million. Under 2.2, makes a statement that the special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and states this is a one-time event and only includes our property located at 1988 East Country Club Road, Martinsville, Indiana, 46151, which is 38 acres of approved flat geographical area. Under 2.3, it makes a statement that the establishment of the special exception will not impede or substantially alter the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in a district. The applicant indicates that's a true statement. In support of that, he has written, this event will not alter any normal or orderly development. We will have traffic control on the day of the event for the entirety of the event. The event ends at 11 p.m. Under 2.4, the statement is adequate utilities, access road, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, water, electricity, restrooms, and hand washing statements will be on site the day prior or the morning of the event. Under 2.5, the statement is adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion on the public roadways. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and goes on to write, traffic control has already been established for the event. Traffic will enter from Morgan Street onto Country Club Road. Traffic will then exit the event and turn right onto Country Club Road, which tees into North Country Club Road. And lastly, under 2.6, the statement is the special exception is located in a zoning district where such use is permitted, and all other requirements set forth in this UDO that are applicable to the use will be met. The applicant indicates that's a true statement, and in support of that, he writes, the use is listed on page 25 of the UDO under special exceptions, and all other requirements are being met. For the technical reports on this, sorry folks, just perusing the paperwork. Doesn't look like we have anything from the surveyor or health department on that one-time use event. For staff's report on this, I'm going to read their recommendation. It says the petitioner has cooperated fully with all requests for information and agreed to incorporate all the agency comments from the October 18th TAC meeting and any others provided in follow-up emails. All comments are reflected in the events details summary. This is a single-day, one-time event. If approval is granted, it is only for this event and nothing more. Any proposed future events or activities would have to follow the same special exception procedure, which includes a public hearing with the BZA. As of this writing, there have been multiple inquiries received by the planning department. The property owners were encouraged to attend the meeting to learn more about the proposed event and share any concerns they may have with the board. Notwithstanding any additional TAC comments that may be submitted prior to the date of the event, staff believes the petitioner has satisfactorily addressed all special exception requirements for this type of event. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the petitioner's request for a one-day temporary rule event on Saturday, October 28th, 2023, which includes any conditions or restrictions the board finds necessary to approve the request. So at this point, gentlemen, we are open for discussion.
Event that's going to benefit the community. I have some questions on 2.1, that it's not going to bother the neighbors by, one, its length, 11 o'clock at night. That just strikes me as strange. When we get down to 2.5, I was in the service. I have no ability to direct traffic. I know that from another job that I have. Some guy standing out there in civilian clothes, waving his arms, saying, I can't turn left. The hell with him. I'm going to do what I want if I want to go in there. You're not going to tell somebody that lives there that they can't drive in there or come in from another way. You're going to have, as Mr. McGrath indicated, professional traffic people. The general feeling is I'm going to vote yet. I'm just going to listen, but it seems like we're just thrown together without a lot of thought. That's all.
Thank you. Gentlemen, other discussion?
I brought up about having regular police officers or
Can you
deputies
lean up,
there.
Jerry, and get it on the mic there?
It's
Get
not
a little
on.
closer.
I brought up what I'm interested in, and that's having duly sworn police officers or deputies there.
For traffic control?
Maybe traffic control, or to protect each other with that kind of crowd, and watch out for people that imbibe too much or create problems. But I don't want one or two cops there, and they're swarmed by a bunch of people, a minimum of 8 to 10.
Any other discussion, gentlemen?
Were there any other additional TAC comments? And was everyone there that's usually involved, or? They weren't there, we had discussion. And there were no concerns?
The only thing was the fireworks, and that was all from the trust.
Any other discussion, gentlemen?
I guess I could be for this if we had some conditions, and one would be I cannot see 8 or 10, but I could see at least some people out there on the road as they drive in and drive out, directing traffic in a uniform. And secondly, I guess, I just can't cause the neighbors this much grief to 11 o'clock at night. I think that this is quit at a reasonable time. Like I say, with the lights, getting the people out on the road and stuff like that, but I could live with that. I could live with supporting it, with a little bit of police protection with the alcohol and the kids there, and a band playing till 10 o'clock at night. I wouldn't want it in my neighborhood, and I don't think those people want it in theirs. And with those exceptions, I could probably go for it. But you know, I just don't have. Maybe it's my age, but it's just a little too much too long. Yet it's a good idea.
Any other discussion, gentlemen?
I kind of agree with Mr. Rumbaugh and Gerald, what they said about the detective, I mean, not a detective, but someone from the police department, sheriff's department, to be in charge of some of the traffic and keep safety down and maybe look over the beer tent or whatever they think children's gonna be getting into. I don't think they'll do that, but I think if you just got volunteers, they don't really have any authority to stop somebody that much.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I'm thinking about it yet, but I think that the state ought to be notified if we're going to empty traffic going out to the highway, so that the state police can be around too.
Okay, all right. Anything else? All right. I applaud you for what you're wanting to do. I think that your organizations, you're doing this to support are worthy organizations. And we're here to hear about one-time event. What may happen in the future, we don't know. We address that as it comes up. Sorry, we're just looking at this as a one-time event. And to me, on this, we don't always agree up here. I guess that's why they have 5 of us instead of 1 or 2, but it makes good sense. I look at it and I say, you know, good thing you're gonna do. The alcohol doesn't bother me. Alcohol is being served at other places in the area out there. I don't think introducing alcohol is gonna be a big deal. You've got a licensed contractor that's gonna be bound by the state laws to adhere to those. And in the past, when I've been involved with those kind of things on the other side of the fence, they tend to do a good job with that. Again, I'm just looking at tonight, not down the road. What's he gonna do? I have no idea. Nobody knows. All that being said, for me, it comes down, does he meet the findings of facts, the 5 issues that have to be addressed, and we have to agree that he meets all of those in order to grant this. And my issue is with 2.2, where it says a special exception will not be injurious to the use, enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted. It's zoned for ag. If I bought property and it was zoned for ag, I wouldn't expect to have this happening. If I bought property and an adjoined property that was zoned for ag, that can always change, and it does frequently, as it should, but be that as it may, right now it's not. It's zoned as ag. This isn't, to me, a good use for that. I don't think they meet 2.2, so for that reason, I'm going to be a no vote on this. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Open for a motion.
Can we go back to discussion?
Absolutely. Nobody made a motion.
Okay. You said about 2.2. which is sometimes a tricky one, I guess. This is a one-day event with hours that end by 10 or 11. It's one day. My neighbors do things on days that, mowing at 8 in the morning when you're trying to sleep in, or the neighbor on the backside of me shooting guns all day. It's his property, and it's one day. I know tomorrow it's not going to happen. And that one, for that reason, anybody that comes before us with anything, it can always be where there's one or two neighbors that don't agree with it. They say he's going to do something that, like you said, that doesn't matter right now at all. We're looking at just this one thing. If we approve this and it is a disaster, next time we're probably not going to okay the next thing. So with the TAC report, with the sheriff, EMS, all of them approving, they've met all of our UDO requirements. I think I'd have to vote yes for this.
I understand it. I agree with you on a lot of that. And a great example of it is the first thing we had tonight on the agenda with the disc golf place. I mean, who would have ever thought, we had a packed room in here for that. And people were afraid of what it was going to represent. And somebody from the crowd screamed out, think about the children. It's disc golf, and I'm thinking, I don't see anything negative to it. And we ended up approving that. And we had them come back in front of us. It wasn't a one-day thing. It was an ongoing use, and we had them come back in just to kind of level set and make sure they were abiding by the conditions that we imposed on them in order to approve it. This one, for me, I was wrong. We didn't have a packed room, but we had a couple of neighbors that were opposed to it, and I think we had one that was supporting them. To me, I'm adding up the years here. I got 130 years worth of residents in the area that are against it, even though it's one day. I'm going to stick on 2.2 for mine, and I'd have to be a no vote on that. If we had one or two neighbors in here and a couple to support him, I might be different altogether. Now, I say that, and I'm sitting here reminding myself that there was a young man that came up and spoke that's going to be at the wedding, right? That lives in the area and supports it as well, so I don't want to discard him. But I've still got 130 years worth of neighbors that say, nah, not the right thing. And, it's agriculture. He wants to drive cattle, ride horses, raise pigs, goats, sheep, and all that. That's what's allowed use for that property, and support that 100%. But for this, again, I'd be a no on it. But that's, again, why there's 5 of us up here. Any other discussion?
I had a question mark on 2.2, and Jason spoke, and I agree with him. I had a question mark on my sheet here. I still have a lot of problem with 2.5, that adequate measures have been taken or will be taken to provide ingress and egress. I think dumping this traffic out at 11 o'clock, it's not the most busy street in the world, but it's certainly a busy street. It does have access to the interstate, I believe. I could vote for it if we didn't have a program for kids that lasts till 10 o'clock at night. And then dumping everybody out. That just strikes me as not very safe. And other than that, if they could handle that, I would be a yes vote, even with the alcohol. But I'm a neighbor here. And that impacts 2.1, which also has a question mark on mine. Like he says, I've got people that shoot my property, they hunt my property, there's horses on my property, there's people a lot, but this is gonna be a lot of noise and a lot of people. I could give up my objections on 2.1 here, that the establishment, maintenance, or operation of special exception will not be detrimental or endanger the public. One day a year, I can live with it. And I personally get a little upset about talking what is or what may be. This is the only thing we can vote on, this event, nothing else. Like he said, if it's screwed up, boy, did they screw up. That's, like I say, Jason did satisfy my 2.2, but I can live with safety and morals because everybody makes noise.
I believe the TAC committee, they tackled the ingress egress issues with that, which is the professional, that's the professional. So they've looked at the plan and.
That would be in the motion that they would have professional there, and like I say.
But what I'm saying is the TAC committee has already looked this over and had no problems with it.
Well, like I said,
As it's presented tonight.
I read that, but I would just want it in the motion. That's all I have.
Thank you. Other discussion? Open for a motion.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Oh, please.
Could you live with music and the program not going till 10 o'clock at night? Give me a reasonable expectation of a reasonable time with children. I didn't hear you. 9 p.m. 5? 9.
So, let's get a little clarity. Can you come up? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's get a little clarity around this, Bill, exactly what it is you're asking. I'm not sure.
Bottom line, shut down a little sooner. I don't see kids there at 11 o'clock. I don't see letting traffic out in Morgan Street at 11 o'clock. I don't expect the people to hear music until at least 10 o'clock. I guess I'm looking for a little compromise. And what would your thoughts be on that? Granted, I'm an old fogey and I'm probably asleep by 11, but you know, I agree with John, I agree with Jason, so I'm sort of in the middle.
Our plan is to have a costume contest for the kids at 6 p.m. and then the kiddie corral closes at 7. So would you be okay with closing the band down, music down, everything down by 9 p.m.?
Compromise, I could live with that easily.
Okay.
Anything else for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Open for a motion.
The other meeting is over, Jason, so you're stuck in this one.
Go ahead. Bill's the one wanting to set one things added to it.
Now, if I say something you don't like, raise your hand, and I won't finish the motion.
Sorry.
You may wonder sometimes.
You opened the door.
I don't fault anybody, their divorce, or their vote on this. I like everybody up here, but we don't always agree, and I think that's signs that we've got a good board here. I would move to approve SE-23-10 with the 2 following exceptions, if I put it that way. Number 1, they have paid police there. or traffic. And that the event be over at 9 o'clock? She didn't, music over at 9 o'clock. Based, let me get here to the proper wordage here. Based on expectation of worksheet for making motions and rules that they have met all the findings of facts.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve with 2 conditions. Did you get both those conditions down on the record? Thank you. Gentlemen, do we need to review what those conditions are before I call for a second? No? Open for a second.
I'll second it.
Mr. McGrath seconds. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Thank you. All opposed? Aye. So it is approved. Thank you all very much. The board still has business this evening. You're welcome to stay, but if you choose not to, please exit quietly. Bill does well. All right, next item on the agenda this evening is staff reports. Mr. Peden's not here, so we don't have a BZA attorney's report. We'll check in with Ms. Parker, see if there's a plan director's report this evening. Okay. Ms. Parker, do we have a plan director's report this evening? Good. All right, thank you. Have nothing else on the agenda. Gentlemen, anything else? Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Take your pick. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, gentlemen.